Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I am Shush, 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 no way. That is she who whispers loudly with a sharpened tongue. Now the OGO, now good Oracle. So, welcome to our channel. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch, and then welcome to just absolute insanity. I mean, honestly, you guys, right now it's just so crazy. It's a new world disorder for sure. They're going all the way with it. It seems like seemingly they want to. My coins were talking about this deal, down south a lot this early summer. They would kept getting south of the border coin, and I kept getting the false flag coin, and then like the global cult coin, coins coming out all the way, and about that failing U.S. team hockey team coin. It's like they were all talking pretty heavily on what was going. And like I said, the biggest concern that we have is the direct border of between us and Mexico. I mean, it's like this could really easily spill over to where we have like an active war, going on right there, and I mean, war is dangerous anywhere. I mean, it's sad that it is where it's at now, but it could easily blow up. We've never seen that like that over here, not in a long time on the Western Hemisphere. So it's like we're not immune, and that's what the coin's been saying. And it's going to be the new front, And so I hope everybody has their seatbelt on because, like my coins have been saying as well, it's going to be a wild ride, And so, but we're not going to spend too much time talking about all the bastards. We got higher shit to do, We got to really raise ourselves up right now onto a higher. I'm trying not to swear in the first 5 minutes. I think I already have. I don't know. Try not to. They don't want you to play by rules. I guess we got to get more of these messages out there, and so. But I don't know. I'll see. I forget. My spirits are, God's army, man. Pirates out here in this world. That's how they see us, And we're a rough bunch, And we're sailors, man. And so it's what it is. It just gives them a right to censor the message. It doesn't change the quality of the message, And so that's why I don't really try too hard, I guess. But anyways, you guys, like my coins were talking too about George Washington losing his freedom of speech, and in a rather physical manner, that's what my coins were talking about, and then that happened too. That took place too, and so we should listen to them coins because that was a really specific message about false flags about George Washington getting shot in the throat, and so I'm not saying that, like with coin reading and with tarot reading, there's not people attached to those coins or whatever, they're energies, and so that's what the energy was of that individual right now, or trying to represent, was a, freedom of speech about our, because things are getting topsy-turvy on us, and so they basically said there, that we're not going to, talk about God in government. We want to go to war, and so that's what that silencing was. Depending on whether or not what the facts are behind that, they could do quite a bit of stuff with holograms nowadays. But that's beside the point. I didn't say that out loud. I think I'm playing it safe enough. But you all know the truth, or else you wouldn't be here listening to me, And so if you're new to the channel, thank you for coming here and checking out the video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share it, get it out there. I keep talking about that hype button, but I don't know if I got enough view hours yet for that yet. I was looking. But I'm very close. A couple more videos than I should, because I think I got to have like 3,000 hours or whatever. And so a couple more videos here. We just keep plugging along at this. And we can make progress on getting this message out there, because I think that's a nice feature on boosting the views, and boosting the number of people who are participating in this channel and in this message, which is really, really very important. And so, yeah, man, welcome to the channel, you guys. It's been a wild ride. 2025 has been a bumpy ride. I hope you found your seatbelt, like I said, because it's going to get bumpier. It can get real bumpy. And so best advice I got for anybody watching the channel right now, no matter where you're at, you can most likely, I mean, unless you're in the Arctic or whatever, but you could most likely be starting something to get growing. Onions, green onions, pak choy radishes, any of that stuff, beets are all real hardy. It's January, you can start a lot of broccoli and things like that. You can start thinking about how you're going to feed yourself this year, because I think that would be very, very wise, a very wise choice right now. I really do, because it's always a wise choice. It always is, and so how can you go wrong with that? But you guys are getting ready to, pull the bottom right out of this thing, and we are the bottom. You got to think about that. And so when they want to take the bottom out, they don't care, because they're going to land on top of us. No more of that shit. It's not how it's going to be anymore. But I've been reflecting, been thinking a lot. I listened to a video, a producer, content creator here on YouTube this morning, and they only had one video, but man, damn, they resonated with the OGO. I mean, it really big time. They're part of our collective too. But I never noticed that they had videos. But like in the video, there was just the same topic, that we talk about here on the channel, about how we need to be taking care of Gaia. We need to be taking care of that which feeds us, which sustains us, and like take care of each other and have self-love, and just how we've learned those things through everything, the trial and the error that we've been through, and like I think, it's like what a lot of people don't realize. It's like we got to learn how to have that self-love and that ability to take care of ourselves as a representation to how we take care of Earth, to take care of Gaia, to take care of what is considered our physical realm. Because it's like there's a lot of misconceptions as to what the physical realm is, like what is the physical realm? What is God, right? What is God? Well, God's the highest consciousness, and so God is the ultimate source and the ethers, it's like they're that energy that we all plug our batteries into, to charge our shit up. It's like if you look at the physical as like your device, that's your device. That's how you are mobile. Spiritual energy, well, you got to charge that thing, like any device, everything's about energy. That's why we're probably going to have, see some horrible things here in the next year or two, but because they want energy, what I'm saying? They're afraid to be operating on that energy alone that is from source. And so they need extra energy because they don't want to live naturally. They don't want to they want to have huge stone. And so they got to feed slaves to cut stone to build their temples and their palaces and their mansions and their cities and all their bullshit that is not needed. We could live in structures that have zero imprint, zero footprint, zero impact on the environment that's around us, very easily. We don't have to live in huge stone. Huge stone takes a lot of effort, and so to worship in a temple that's built from huge stone is a sacrilege. It's an assault onto what is source, what is energy, because it's an exploitation of that energy. Source doesn't make themselves available to us in order for us to waste our time sitting there chipping away at a rock to make it flat on all sides, so that we got some freaking thing that serves us no purpose, and it's just destructive because it requires all of that energy. Even if you're doing it with slaves, you got to feed your slaves, so it's not free, not by any means, not on diet, not on creation. It's very taxing on creation. It destroys creation because that's not the way creation operates. It's a balanced system. You don't do something that is frivolous, utilizing massive amounts of energy as a divine creator. Divine creator does everything so that it's in perfect alignment. It's in perfect unison. And it doesn't utilize anything more than it gives back. If anything, the way a creator operates, we give back more. We should be able to give back more to creation with our abundance of energy that they give us as human beings, because we are able to do things easier and smarter for ourselves, because we have thumbs, and we got a brain. We don't just have to wander around or like look for our next meal. We can figure out how to very resourcefully feed ourselves, house ourselves, and do all of these things for ourselves. That honestly, the other animals in the animal kingdom, they don't. They have limited skills, limited talents. It doesn't make them any better than us, but they're just naturally resourceful. They're just naturally in a slot where they can't make that same mistake that we make by hewing stone and thinking that we're going to worship God on that altar where they do human sacrifice. I mean, come on, man, let's get real about it. It's gone way too far. And so it's like, what is God, right? What is God? What is it to be a physical being, and also a being that exists only in an ethereal state, and what it is, it's like, well, what's the world, because that's like the message that I had listened to was talking about the world as a living, breathing organism, and of course the world is a living, breathing organism because it's your most highest self, It's like the universe as we know it exists only within ourselves, and so your physical manifestation is the embodiment of God Most High, of your most highest self, and so what does the globe look like? What does the world look like? You. I'm looking at it right now, looking into this camera, looking back at me. That physical representation is what the world looks like. That's the world, because everything exists within myself, and so I am the embodiment of the Most High God, because that is the Most High God, and so my universe, the universe that I am structurally, is identical to what I am, that I am. It's how it is. That's what Jesus tried to teach. That's what Jesus was teaching. That's what they try to take away from him. And so it's like we got to recognize that. That's why it's very important how we treat ourselves, and how we treat, because how we treat ourselves is how we treat the rest of the world. And so a lot of us are caught in these cycles right now where they've taught us that the universe is something that is surrounding us. It's not something that we surround, And so it's like, well, if it's surrounding us, then it's something to be very fearful of. But if we surround it, then it's our embodiment. It's the thing that we're most responsible for, And that's how we represent ourselves best in the eyes of God Most High. It's how you become a chosen child of God Most High, is when you realize this and don't think about it in any other way, Like the world is you, like you're the universe, right? And like everything in creation is a crystal structure. It's a crystal lattice. It's a crystal matrix, And so you're a crystal formation. Everything about you is a crystal formation, even though you're an organic organism. That's organic crystals, Like you're still formed out of crystals, But with a crystal matrix, every single crystal in that matrix is identical. Identical. Well, it's not identical, but they're kind of like Tetris or whatever. They all fit together in a certain way, and so you might have 5 or 6 different shapes of the crystal of quartz, but that's the only shapes that you're going to get in a quartz crystal formation. And so because they lock together, they grow. It grows. Crystals grow. They grow, right? And so that's what you are, but on a fucking universal scale, like you're a massive crystal lattice like that, And so it's like you're Earth, because that's existing within you, That's where your Earth lies, because that's your crystal, matrix. If you follow me at all, like it really makes a lot of sense. So shesh no way. There's a bunch of little pieces of shesh no way locked together, in these different shapes or different forms that I've existed in, and that makes my crystal matrix. And only my crystal matrix, only my crystal formation is that way. It's only unique to me, and so that's why my most high self is earth, is where I abide in, where I live in my physical experience here, played out in this thing, this experience that we all share metaphysically. That's what it is. My world only exists within me. Your world only exists within you. The way you see the world around you is only seen through your eyes, and it's unique only to you. It's the only experience that is of God Most High, or of your Most High Self. Trust me. It's how creation happens. This is how they do it. So this is how they do it, okay? Go read about crystals. Go read about the whole universe being made out of crystals. And then they're going to go, oh, so Yo Joe's not crazy all the way. Just crazy enough. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. It's definitely a new world. It's gonna take us a little bit to get to where there's order in it. Mm-hmm. Back in 2012, when they said everything was supposed to come apart, right? And they were worried about the Mayan prophecy because of that closing out of the big cycles, right? The big cycle. And they, I used to always tell people, I was like, hey man, they were like, oh, see, nothing happened. It's always like this, nothing happened. And I was like, yeah, lots happening. I said, a lot's happening. I said, but I said, check back in with me in about 300 years, and we'll have this conversation, and you tell me how much happened, And so now we're, what are we? We're 14 years deep into it, and woo! I mean, seriously, you guys, it's been fast, but you gotta think about, we all gotta stop and think, like, whoa. What the hell? Yeah, we got a lot went down on the split. We got the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands, Got to slow down, But that statement I made was very true, And so, thank you, Father God, for everything that you do, for all the way you lead, guide, and direct us, Father. You always provide us with everything that we need, and you don't disappoint, never. This experience down here might be a little bit difficult at times, but man, you never are. You never are. You always show up. Man, it's really solid. Thank you. Most solid. Most high, most solid. Right? Say thank you. Man, wish I could just give God a big old hug. It's like they always give me a big old hug. I just wish it's like one of these days. I guess that's what we gotta do for ourselves. That's what we gotta learn right now. That's really important right now. That we really listen to them. Really listen to them. Listen to ourselves. Because when we do that, that's how we get back into that crystal frequency. And we could all start communicating with each other again in that realm where lies don't exist. And then we become the most high. Like we become the most high, right? Because at that point, when we get back to that frequency that is in balance, is what God's trying to really do, Like God wants to open us up completely, They want us to all realize and have the deep reverence for each other's universal experience, And so it's like if we all see each other in the light of the Most High, then we're always going to be in a world that is in a frequency so very different from the one that we're in today. Because today we're kind of all stuck in the most low, and they're trying to pump all that shit up out of the earth right now, and they're willing to really harm each other and do atrocities, in our names, to pump that stuff up out of the earth, because they're afraid to just let God do God's thing, Gotta alter creation, and they need all that energy to alter creation, because God is the most massive source of energy, And so they're trying to compete with God but with lizard blood. So they're lizard people. Tell you guys. And it's not even that they're lizard people. It's just that their spiritual essence, everything that they believe in, everything that they have faith in, is fueled by that lizard flesh. It's that old sun energy. That's what they worship, you know. And it's all that fucking dinosaur fucking juice, you know. But that's the lizards, you know. And so the lizards didn't give a damn about God, and that's why God didn't give a damn about them either. They served their purpose. And so he sequestered that shit. He put that shit in the pits, you know. And that was the first changing. That's when they created us, man, you know, humans, man and woman, in the image of, you know. And we're not dinosaurs. We don't go around just consuming everything in fucking sight until there's nothing left, you know. And that's what they're doing with the blood of the beast. And that's coming from the belly of the earth, you know, because that's the way that energy functioned, and that's why it was sequestered. It's Leviathan, you know. Killing each other for it. This is the real shit right here. This is the shit that we need to be talking about. This is the truth. Why do you think God buried it in the first place? You know, lizards aren't nice. You know, they're not nice. Like, yeah, sure, lizards, they exist, but they exist in a far more shrunken format from what they were in for a reason. Okay, it's how God knows what they're doing, man. The thing is that every one of our spirits occupied one of them monsters at that time. And that's the thing, you know. It's like you gotta know your elements, right? And so I've been all of them because I got all 4 elements. But I've had to master myself and being able to exist in a world without gnashing teeth, you know, because that's how that world was. That's how that world was inside of me. I wanted to consume everything in sight, you know. And so I've had to work on my self-mastery over eons since time primordial, you know. And so I've come back many different transits, you know, as a lizard, right? Because that's what was on Earth at the time, you know. But it's all powered on that same spiritual energy, that same, you know. And so those of us who survived the Great Changing, you know, and made it out of it and resurrect out of the lizard mind, of the lizard head, you know, and try to move forward as a living representation of Father God Most High and understand ourselves to a degree where we could actually tend to the garden and not destroy it. Are very powerful souls, very powerful beings, and we're the chosen ones. And so you know what it is to be a lizard, but you also know what it is to be a Godhead, you know, a true divine one, you know. And so we could go all the way with this motherfucker right now, you know. We take it all the way to that place that we know exists, you know, because it does, no doubt about it. Where God is very real, you know, and we could all find that together. But we have to remember where it is that we came from. You know, not hate ourselves for it, nor long for that power that we used to hold that always made us the most weakest and not the most high, you know. That's what they read, man. Damn God. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Fucking so much. You know. Anyways, get on with this read. They're lizard people. They're lizard people, okay? Everything that they have faith in, everything that they believe in, everything that they love, everything that they care about is money and oil, you know? Because power and control. And that's it. That's all they care about. They're still dinosaurs, right? They're lizards. They're dinosaurs. They don't know how to think like a human being. Yeah, sure, they're embodied in a human being. They're not going to change into a lizard right in front of you. But watch how they behave when you slap some money on the table. You know, go make a deal with them. Watch how they behave. You know, go bring out a fucking birthday cake for your kid and start handing out slices. Hand them a little piece and see how they behave. Let them cut the cake up and hand it out and see how big their fucking slice is compared to what they give to the children whose fucking birthday it is in the first place. They're lizards. They're venomous. All that exists in their heart and in their soul is the sounds of gnashing teeth, you know? And they think that their exploding bombs are gonna fucking make that sound go away a little bit because they hate themselves for it, you know, because it's not what they were created to be, but they can't be any more powerful than that. They have to be weak, you know? And so here we are. I don't want the blood on my hands anymore. You know, this is not my wars. These are not my wars. The OGO does not approve. And I live, as you can see, very simply. My house is lit by a rechargeable battery that I charge on my solar system. I use candle lights and I use lamps, oil lamps. You know, and I go to bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning or in the evening when the sun goes down. Right now, I go to sleep. You know, and so I'm not sitting here using a bunch of electricity. I got my refrigerator outside where it's cold and it doesn't have to be plugged in, or really I can plug it in once or twice a day and I can get it to recycle, you know, and it stays just fine outside because it's I got the right temperature outside, you know. And so I love the wintertime for that benefit right there because I don't have a lot of sun and so I have limited power. But I'm living this way because I'm in protest of these wars for resources, you guys. You know, and I hope that more people will follow me in that pursuit, you know. And so I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this video right now because we got 26 minutes into it, and I've done my yakking. Okay, I love to yak, but I know, you know, it's a busy world out here. It's hard to stay focused. It's hard to concentrate. It's hard to make it through. More than 27-minute video. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this one right here, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I yacked. Okay, so I got my yak out, got my yak on, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'll pull some cards. You know, I'll do another video, and I'll go ahead and do the read now. You know, and so that way I'll have a video that if you guys want to sit and listen to my bullshit, I can preach, you know, my bullshit or whatever. Try to get that message out there. 10 Pinnacles on the bottom of the deck, though. And so I don't know. Probably I'd watch the read too, you know, and so that's what we'll do. We'll leave this right here and then we'll come out, we'll start this read with the 10 of Pentacles right there, you know. And so there you guys, this is what it is. We've been called, we're on our mission now, you know, so we got focus. We got to focus. We got good things coming in, okay? Good things right now that are gonna make a lot of fucking sense, you know. Where nothing has, and that's okay, because what's funny, you know, is that they don't know it. They're lizards. They're not fucking very smart, you know, and they're cold blooded. They gotta lay on a rock all fucking day till they can even move, and so they're pretty stupid. But like the magic, what they've been doing is like in the first place, you know, God created the lizards because they had. The universe was brand new, you know, and it was expanding and it was growing, but it had a lot of like energy going on, you know, and so they were kind of like a breaker, you know, because like they had to convert. It's all part of creation, you know. It's like it starts with the mushrooms, you know, and then lichens, and the mushrooms and the lichens are able to consume the rock, the stone after the earth, after it cools, right? And then they convert the stone into chelated, very important word, minerals, right? That then can be consumed by more complex organisms, and that's how they build soil, you know. And so it's like with the dinosaurs, there was like so much, you know, that earth was like it would grow like growing plants, and like, you know, like it needed to they were here at that time, because it's kind of like if you fertilize your garden or your yard, you know, you got to have a bigger mower basically, and so it's like that's what they were, you know, and they were learning us on like how to use our energies too, because we were all very new energies. And so we had to refine that and become more delicate in that process to where we could understand what it is as to create, you know. So at that time, we were basically just like there to consume, you know. But at this time, because it's now about learning how to manage creation properly, you know, because it's like that's how it goes, you know. And so we're responsible for that so that we don't just make it a total shit show and that we can learn how to let it then kind of come into an equilibrium, you know. And so the lizard brains gotta evolve, you know. So thanks for the conversation. We'll come back with this Ten of Pentacles, and we'll hopefully have some solutions, you know. With Ten of Pentacles, that could be good. And so, guys, peace out.